It's only when I see photos like this that I can acknowledge to myself and to others that while I still have a long ways to go, I've come a very far way. How I got here is an amazing story, and I'm going to share that with you tonight. From a miserable existence to an amazing life, where every day is a gift and a blessing to be alive. I was destined to a life of obesity and weight struggles before I was even born, because of the lifestyle my parents were choosing. My mom drank between 1 and 4 beers a day at the advice of her OB to quell the heartburn and indigestion she suffered from while she was pregnant. No one had ever heard of fetal alcohol syndrome then, and that is what I was born suffering with. Born in the mid-60s, when the common birth practice was to knock the mother out on general anesthesia and forcibly deliver the baby, I was born suffering from a severe cervical subluxation, something my parents had never even heard of, and fetal alcohol syndrome. I cried constantly and I vomited constantly. By the time I was 4 weeks old, my mother was mixing Pepsi in warm water or ginger ale in warm water and putting it in my baby bottles. By the time I was 6 weeks old, my grandmother was feeding me mashed potatoes. These things stayed down, they stopped the vomiting, they stopped the crying, so they stuck with what worked. Again, already putting very poor and bad lifestyle choices into play before I could even make choices myself. If you look closely at this picture of me at a year old, you'll see the dark mark on my forehead. That is from the forceps that I was delivered with. That birth trauma caused more than 30 years of horrific migraine headaches. 1971-72, I entered the 2nd grade. I weighed 110 pounds. I could only find clothes that fit at Sears in the chubby girl department. My mom had a belief that the government wouldn't allow things to be sold in stores and restaurants that weren't good for you. So when I wanted chocolate fudge Pop-Tarts and Pepsi for breakfast, and Kraft macaroni and cheese out of the box for dinner, she let me have it. Entering the 4th grade, 1973-74, I weighed 150 pounds. The school nurse convinced my parents to put me on a diet. I'd never heard of that word. So for the entirety of the school year, I carried carrot sticks and celery sticks for lunch, while my brother got to take peanut butter and jelly or bologna and cheese. Yeah, that really helped on how much I got picked on. But I felt I was being punished, and why I didn't know. I'd always been told of the starving children in Africa and to clean my plate, and I listened. I was a good kid. Yes, I was one angry and resentful 10-year-old, and this set me up for a lifelong struggle with dieting, losing weight, and regaining more. By my senior year in high school, 1982, I weighed 250 pounds. I hated gym class. I had few friends. I'm happy to say that I'm still friends with most of those people today. I was junior class president, but I was in no means a popular person, and that was because of my weight. At the age of 22, I married a morbidly obese man who loved and adored me. He loved to cook, he loved to eat, and I joined him. Our lives took many twists and turns, as lives will. Trying for 6 years to conceive, only to suffer failure after failure, we drowned our disappointments in Ben & Jerry's and Papa John's Pizza, further perpetuating the bad lifestyle. Then my life got really crazy and really stressed. To say I was stressed was an understatement. I ate, and I ate all the wrong things. The more stressed I got, the more I sought comfort in foods. The more weight I gained, the lousier I felt. And this cycle went on and on. More lousy lifestyle choices. Then my husband became very ill. And he got iller. And life got even more stressed. And the cycle of stress, seeking comfort in foods, feeling bad, seeking comfort in foods, feeling bad, gaining more weight, just perpetuated itself. Edward passed away in December of 2006. I was a mess. I fell into a black hole. I hated myself. I hated my life. I was so fat and I wanted to die. have no idea how much I weighed at this point because I refused to step on a scale. I was making a lot of inappropriate life choices. In June of 2008, which is when this picture was taken, I was scheduled to have major sinus surgery for breathing issues that I was having. The surgery had to be delayed almost 2 months because my blood sugar was over 300 and they won't even touch it when your sugars are that high. I was put on injected insulin and the dosage had to continually be bumped up and up and up until I maxed out at the maximum of 220 units a day. I'm really happy to say that I haven't needed an insulin injection since May. But I knew I was at the end of my rope at that point. I knew I needed help. I needed support. I didn't know how I was going to get it. I was worried that I was going to wind up stuck in bed with somebody wiping my behind like I had done for Edward for 5 years. Then entered Dr. Joe Wood into my life. He offered understanding. He shared his own pain and his own weight loss struggle. He shared his own story with me. He brought me hope. He offered support and acknowledged. There's an old expression that says, when the student is truly ready, the teacher shall appear. My teacher appeared. Even though Dr. Littman had been telling me for years and years many of the same things Dr. Joe told me that night, and that I'm going to share with you this evening. It was then that I was finally ready to listen. I was finally ready to be coachable. We came up with an 8-phase plan. This is how I got my life back. Fruits, lean proteins, and vegetables. And you can actually have fun with these things. Really, enjoy these things. I also started stretching to strengthen my low back instabilities and my core muscles.